One of the main things I took from General Conference was Elder Holland's talk, and how he said the gospel is great because we get credit for trying, even if we don't succeed. And I think that brought a lot of comfort to my heart, because I think it comes down to your intentions and who you really are, and that's what God sees in us.
I love talking about the gospel, and I love discussing and analyzing and, reading about it, but I think what I tend to forget a lot of the time is that I need to act on it. And I can't just know the church is true, and I can't just know I should go to the temple unless I act on it. I'm not stretching that muscle, I'm not stretching my testimony, I'm not learning and growing. And so for me, that was my favorite part about General Conference.
Man, one thing I really loved, I really appreciated the talk about refugees. Essentially, we're all kind of refugees in a sense, Like King Benjamin said, aren't we all in the same situation? Aren't we all beggars? All of us, we're in the same situation. And I love that about the church. I love that the church is, it isn't a Republican church, a Democratic church. We just teach Christ-like principles, And that's something I really get out of conference, is like, no one's trying to pick sides. We're just trying to make people better.
So I absolutely loved conference this year. It was so good. I feel like I was spiritually fed. I learned a lot. I learned a lot about myself. One talk stood out to me. I think it was Elder Cook's. His was about temples and seeing yourself in the temple. I think he used the analogy of the mirror or something with looking in the temple and seeing yourself. I just love that concept, because we should always have that in our mindset, always remember to have the temple as our goal, no matter what.
So my favorite quote from General Conference was when Elder Renlund said that he is grateful that life isn't fair. And I love that, because when you think about it, life is an adventure. And when you think about Satan's plan, Satan really wanted life to go well for us. And so I think that sometimes we get discouraged when God gives us trials, but we don't realize that trials are the things that help us to grow and to learn and to progress. So next time God gives us a trial, I think we should say with more consistency, I'm grateful that life isn't fair.
In conference, they reference a great and spacious building on several occasions, and I thought it was really interesting that they brought that up now, because that's how I feel. And when I walk away from conference, I leave with so much hope. I think I get overwhelmed by all the negativity in the world, by all the distractions, by all the artificialness, that it really grounds me to my roots and to where I want my roots to be, and that is to be in the gospel.
General Conference, it's awesome stuff. You get to kind of a recharge on the big doctrines of the gospel that the brethren think we should be really paying attention to. I don't really think about it as often as I should, but conference is it's scripture that's right now for us. It's really cool.
One of my favorite talks was by President Uchtdorf during the Saturday priesthood session, and just talked about family and marriage and just always being a great husband. And one of my favorite quotes from him, and I'm going to paraphrase this, we're not always looking so much for the perfect person, but more of somebody that throughout our lifetime we can have a perfect life together.
I think one of my favorite things that was said was by our prophet, President Monson, how he said that one of the best things that we could do is focusing maybe on the harder things, but know that it's the right thing to do rather than the easy things, which are not.
Okay, one thing that I love about conference is the immense peace and comfort that I feel when I watch it, and I just noticed that every time I go in to conference with a question, I always come out with an answer.
And I love Elder Holland's talk. It's always powerful. Elder Uchtdorf always has at least one or two great messages that just I need to read again. My thing is I get more out of it after the fact. I get more. The day of I feel the Spirit, of course, but so I always go in and listen again and again every talk, and then I get more out of it.
I think that hearing such applicable and such powerful statements from people I trust was such a special opportunity for me.
one that really kind of hit home for me was Elder Christopherson's talk about fatherhood. Just since the beginning of this year, I had a son born January 1st. It kind of really made me think about when he said that teaching the gospel is a shared responsibility between mother and father.
It's really hard to sum up every feeling that I have with conference. I would say my favorite part about conference weekend is the way it makes me feel, because the brethren just really have a way of connecting.
And as you feel the notes build higher, you will see it's like a symphony. Just keep listening, and pretty soon you'll start to figure out your part. Everyone plays a piece, and there are melodies in each one of us. Oh, it's glorious.
If you take the time to read their talks and listen, that you, on your own, without the influence of others, will gain a testimony of who they are and that they are witnesses of Jesus Christ.